Hi everybody, what's going on? Thank y'all for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. This is my fishing report for Lake Wedowee. I believe it's the second week of May, so I think today's maybe the 9th or the 10th. So this is my little fishing report, so I'm gonna be posting it on Wednesday. And I'm just gonna be talking about the baits I was using this past weekend at Wedowee. Caught some fish, caught a nice one, missed a big one, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So the lake's full. The lake's been full for almost 2 weeks now, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. The water's in the low 70s, low to mid 70s. You know, later in the day, if the sun's really hot, you can see high 70s, but the true water temps in the low to mid 70s, around that range. Some places back in a creek, you know, it's still high 60s, but I'd say the average water temp on the lake is about 70, 72 degrees. Like I said, the lake's full. Kind of dingy up the big river. I haven't been up the Little Tallapoosa really far, but up around Wedowee Creek area, it's pretty clear. So the lake's pretty clear, you know, pretty standard for this time of the year. Like I said, the lake's full. Lots of boats out on the water. There's a lot of trash out there floating, a lot of logs. So if you're fishing out there, just be careful. And if you're fishing at night, really just kind of go slow and watch out for that. Because like I said, there's a lot of big floaters out there. But I'm just going to go into, you know, what I was doing to catch some fish. So I fished Friday evening, Saturday morning till about 8:30. Then me and Papa fished Saturday afternoon. And I fished Saturday night. Fished Sunday morning, all day Sunday pretty much. So been spending a lot of time on the water this past weekend. So the bait that I'm starting off my day with early in the morning, late in the evenings, is a little buzz bait. This isn't the trailer that I've been catching fish on. I've been throwing just a white toad, but I wanted to try this just to see. There was some brim around the area, so I put that little brim color on. But like I said, just a little buzz bait, throwing that thing around. Like I said, my main bait I've been using is a white toad, but I just had that on there before I went home. But just throw that little buzz bait around, seawalls, just going down the bank, fish it across points, just cover water with it. There's no specific area. Just get that thing moving, stumps, rock, just whatever. Just cover water, move down the bank, and you can get bites. And it seemed to me like in the evening was the best time to get bites. I mean, I would probably get 7, 8 bites in about an hour in the evenings fishing that thing. And then of course another great bait, say you get back in a pocket and you don't want to throw the buzz bait because you don't want to make a lot of commotion. If you just throw a little popar, just work that thing really slow, you know, in shallow areas, across points, back in pockets and stuff where the lake has just now got covered up with water. Just throw that little popar. I think that's a brim color, but this thing's pretty old. It's just pretty much white on the bottom, but just throwing that kind of in the same areas. Like I said, just fishing that thing shallow. I mean, you can fish it out deep and you can fish it on points and stuff, but I'm just focusing, you know, around pockets, around boat docks, wood, just shallow areas where I don't want too much commotion. I can throw that thing. And then lastly, for my top waters, a little popping frog. I've just been throwing a black one, skipping that thing around, getting it in the same areas as the popper. But if there's more cover, or sometimes there's like pollen and just a bunch of stuff floating in the water, I've been throwing that little black popping frog, of course, throwing that thing on braid, but just fishing it in the same areas, you know, the backs of pockets, overhanging bushes, boat docks, trash piles, just all that good stuff. And then if you want to slow down and, you know, work through an area a lot better, I'm just throwing like a little Texas rigged creature bait, just a green pumpkin. I've got the tails of it on this one, dyed chartreuse. One key that I'm doing is I'm throwing it on a flipping hook rather than just a normal worm hook. So hopefully you can see that right there. That's but it's a 3/0 flipping hook, because this time of the year, them fish are mean. There's still some fish up there on the bed, and a lot of trash and stuff like that. So you want to have that good thick hook so you can get that good hook set in the fish's mouth. But like I said, just throwing that little Texas rig around, same areas, you know, you can drag this on a point, around a boat dock, seawall, backs of pockets, the timber, just whatever you want to do. And too, if you want to fish at night, like on the dock lights or whatever, that's a good bait to throw on the dock lights as well. Just, you know, working that thing on the bottom. And then my favorite bait, pretty much my favorite bait all spring, is a wacky worm. But I've switched up from like a Cinco style bait to a trick worm, weightless. This time of the year, these fish have been shallow for a good amount of time now, and they've seen every bait. This trick worm is a little bit more finessey. It's not as, it's a longer bait, but it's not as fat, and it doesn't make as much of a commotion when it hits the water. You can skip that thing really good. You can't throw it as far, but you can get some good bites on this thing. I caught the majority of my fish on this and the buzzbait this past weekend, but like I said, if you want to just get out there and catch some fish, go early in the morning, late in the evening seem to be the best bite for me. Throwing that buzzbait around, just covering water. If one misses it, throw back in there with the wacky worm. I didn't see any shad spawning. Usually this time of the year you can see some around some seawalls and rock, but I never saw any. But that doesn't mean they're not spawning somewhere on the lake. I just didn't see any. But like I said, cover water early with a buzzbait, some kind of top water, or like a spinner bait, a swim jig, and then as the day goes on, move back in the pockets that might have some shade or some just whatever. Even if there's no shade, you can still throw that buzzbait, throw the popar, throw the popping frog, or just a normal frog if it's really thick. And then if you want to really work through an area good, you can throw that Texas rigged creature bait or that little wacky worm. Just throw that thing around. Like I said, the fishing's pretty good. It's not great. I mean, I did catch a almost 7-pounder, and I lost probably the biggest fish of my life at Wedowee Sunday afternoon up shallow. So, I mean, the fish are still up there. There's still some on the bed. They're not all out deep yet. I mean, the fish are pretty much in all 3 stages right now. Still some that haven't spawned, which is a small amount, but the majority of them are post-spawn and still kind of lingering around the beds. But like I said, just covering water, moving around. If you pull up on a fish and you see it or see one cruising, you can, these are some good baits to try. But like I said, fishing's pretty good. Lake's full. You can catch them a lot of different ways. So it's one of my favorite times of the year. I love to throw topwater. That's why I've got 3 different topwaters in my little lineup. But like I said, that's just my fishing report for the 2nd week of May. Like I said, fished 3 days this past weekend, so spent a lot of time on the water. Like I said, thank y'all so much for watching this video. And if you missed the video that I'm kind of referencing in this one, I'll post it in the description or in the top of the comments. If you haven't checked it out, it's a good one. Caught my biggest bass ever at Wedowee. Not my biggest bass overall, but the biggest one I've ever caught at Wedowee, and it was on that buzzbait. So you know that I'm not lying about throwing that old buzzbait around. But like I said, thank y'all so much for watching this one. I'm gonna post it on Wednesday. Hopefully I have another video on Friday. Me and Papa are gonna be out of town fishing a tournament at Gunnersville, so that should be fun. But like I said, thank y'all for watching this video, and I'll see y'all next time.